How's it going, everybody? It's been a little while since we did a little sit-down video of stuff that we built, right? Yeah. So, what do you got there?
So, I got the Fire Streak
SST, yeah. So that's an easy snap-together kit. The young man built this by himself while Dad was working on some other stuff. So that's pretty cool, right? Yeah, so you built this guy. This is going to fly on a mini engine. I think we're going to fly it on an A3-4T. I don't know. It has a little streamer in there. So we just kind of crammed it in there. But that's going to be a streamer recovery. So that'll be our wind checker the next time we fly, right?
Yeah.
And then we did have an interceptor that crashed by Estes. This was like probably the third or fourth rocket that we built last summer. And then we crashed it recently, right? It was in pretty bad shape.
The nose cone just kind of got buried and devastated all over.
Yeah, the nose cone was broken. We smashed the tube at a bunch of different spots. The front was really smashed. So Dad actually took a wrap around and I cut it, the top, right?
And we also had an other rocket crash. Remember that little skinny one?
I don't know. We've had a few crashes, but we were pretty upset when this one crashed because this one we were pretty attached to. It's always a cool looking flyer. So it was painted just like the kit does with the decals. And it was so smashed up though we had to use putty and fill in all the dents and dings that were on there, and we had to kind of straighten out the wings. And then we repainted it with some Star Wars logos on there. We painted it with the Revell Aqua paints, brush-on paints.
If you remember the Star Wars kit that we made.
Yeah, we used some of like the Boba Fett colors. So this is actually an Imperial interceptor now, right? Yeah. Isn't that thing cool?
It's like level up.
Yeah, right. So we'll see how that flies. And Dad repacked it with an 18-inch nylon chute. I pulled the old shock cord out of there, gave it a new shock cord, and then attached the piece of paper in there. I pulled the old piece of paper out. That was kind of hard. Scraped it out, and then there's a new piece in there.
We also made a gray one of these.
Yeah, we have a chrome one. So we're going to do a chrome one, but the paint hasn't dried yet. So once that paint's dry, Dad will use the kit decals, and hopefully maybe you'll see it at the end of the video. We're not going to fly today. Maybe we'll fly tonight or maybe tomorrow morning. It's really windy outside right now, and they're talking rainstorms and everything else. But you know what? These are just two that we're going to fly. This is going to be our first one. We always start with the smallest rocket to kind of check the wind, even if we think the wind looks okay, whatever.
And as you can see, we also got these real ones.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so the new acquisition we do have some realistic scale rocket kits, but you know what? We haven't gotten around to building any of that stuff yet. A few times at our hobby shop, we saw this Saturn V kit, right?
Yeah.
We finally decided to make the decision to fly the Saturn V, right?
Yeah.
I know some of these words are kind of big for you, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and read the back. As the tallest, heaviest, and most powerful rocket ever produced, the original Saturn V rocket was a 3-stage rocket that stood 363 feet tall. That's crazy how tall that is. Some of our rockets don't even fly that high. It weighed approximately 6.2 million pounds and generated 7.2 million pounds of thrust at liftoff. The Saturn V was at the heart of NASA's Apollo and Skylab programs, as it was able to launch a 45-ton payload beyond low Earth orbit, which was necessary for sending men to the moon. A total of 13 Saturn V launches took place between 1967 and 1973, delivering 24 astronauts successfully to the moon
and back to Earth.
And back to Earth, that's right. Isn't that a pretty amazing accomplishment? Yeah, that was even before Dad was born. That's pretty wild. So we're going to open this one today. And then we have a more modern rocket.
I can read the front of this.
Yeah, this is NASA's SLS rocket. It's a pre-assembled, ready-to-launch kit. This one says it'll fly 350 feet. This one says it'll fly 200 feet. Both of them on C65 engines, which I actually did take a look at Estes' website. And even though the box says C6, oh, this one does say C53 and C63. So I think we're going to try a C53 in this one. And then this one, I think we're going to try the C63, which is what it says. C63 only. So with these rockets, I think it's better to fly what's recommended, right?
NASA's
Artemis program, yep.
program will land on the first woman and next man on the moon. From there, we'll take the next giant leap, sending astronauts to Mars.
That's wild, huh? We're thinking about going to Mars in your lifetime. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's start with the old school guy. So this guy stands at 19.4 inches tall. The diameter is 1.64 inches. That's pretty cool. It's parachute recovery. I believe both of these have 18-inch recovery chutes. This one's a touch taller, 21.8 inches tall. There we go. We'll go ahead and open this. Kids never touch knives without your parents' permission and guidance, correct?
Yep.
Yep. So we're gonna put this back over here. Man, our flight box is like super heavy nowadays. We have a lot of stuff. I know, you're excited, aren't you? You like realistic looking rockets. We have a Mercury Redstone kit, and I haven't started building it because the body tube is a little dimpled in the package. But whatever, we're gonna get to that. So let's see what's in here. Even if you're a little bit more advanced rocketeer, it's always a good idea to read the instructions, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so we're gonna cut these with our little nippers. So it's already got our shock cord in there. Nice, it's in there. It looks like it's tied through the body tube. It's not glued in with a piece of paper like a lot of rocket kits. Looks like it, yeah, it comes with, is that an 18-inch parachute? I can't remember. So we'll probably be ready to fly pretty quickly here. So here you go, young man. We're gonna do that. Ooh, look at that. It comes with a, I didn't know that. It comes with a nice stand. So that's cool. So you could actually display this. If you didn't want to fly this and you're more of a collector, it comes with a nice stand.
Ooh.
That's pretty cool. So you could actually stand it up on there. And then these, it comes with clear plastic fins that actually help it fly. So I believe the plastic fins actually have to like be plugged on there.
It looks like it's just from the airplane museum.
So even if you were just a collector and you didn't want to build, that's a nice shelf piece. It's really nice.
It looks like it's from the airplane museum on vacation.
Yeah, where did we go? Strategic Air Command Museum. That was pretty cool. That was a lot more Cold War era warplanes and stuff like that. And then there were some recovery capsules for moon missions. And there were different kinds of rockets and drones. That was pretty cool. Yeah, so that's actually, so the blue parachute's actually a 15-inch parachute, or 18-inch parachute rather. Okay, so one thing, because we live in an area where the summers are really humid, okay? Nothing really wrong with the plastic chutes. I would cut the spill hole open so that it does come down a little bit more quickly for you. If you put a little bit of baby powder in, that'll help with the chute deployment. But one thing that we have kind of decided that we like to do, except for smaller rockets, we're okay. On a little bit bigger rockets that we're more concerned about, because we have had failures because of humidity, the parachute gets stuck and it doesn't want to deploy fully. So what we're going to do, we use parachutes from Top Flight Recovery, right?
Yep. And
we use parachutes from Bama Recovery. So you can find that. Estes does have chutes, but I believe they're all like a 24-inch nylon chute. So we go to a nylon parachute, right? This one's going to be an 18 from Bama Recovery. I ordered it with the spill hole already made. It's a nylon chute. They don't melt as easily as a plastic chute if you don't do enough recovery wadding. So look at that. That's an 18-inch gold parachute. I like it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's already got a 2-inch spill hole in the top. So I think that we are going to pack this one with that. We're going to get this one ready to fly first, right?
Yep.
There's nicer swivels you can buy, but I found that some of these little fishing swivels work great. It's just finding the loophole that you can actually tuck it through. So that way it'll help it have a much smoother recovery. And honestly, we may be able to do a 15 on this. These rockets still, yeah, it's kind of heavy. So an 18 is probably okay. But we'll find a nice day for first flight where it's not windy at all, so we really know what we're doing. We got a loop, and then we're gonna get our parachute through there, right? We're just gonna tuck it right through there. We're gonna try and get ourselves a nice even knot. If it seems like a couple of the lines are not tied evenly, then you just kind of loosen it a little bit. Looks like it's going down nice and even. And boom, look at that. It's a nice, beautiful little knot, right? Absolutely awesome. So, and then our little fishing hook. Some of these, this is kind of tough for your fingers, right? A little difficult. Then we just hook that on there, and then that way, if you don't have a lot of parachutes, you can take this parachute off easily and tie it into it. So if we wanted to, we could just switch parachutes in the field. There we go, just by doing that. That's an easy way of doing things. We pop our plastic fins on. It needs to fly with the fins, correct? Yeah. Okay. So it's got a screw-on connector there. Because the box does say C63 only, we'll do a C63 on this one. Make sure our igniter hole is facing downward. Sometimes we stick them in the other way, and then out in the field we're like, oh boy, look at what we did. So we're going to screw our engine in there. Make sure it's in there. Stopper in there. There we go. Sometimes you just gently got to shake it past, because rocket engines, even in their packaging, the ends of them get a little beat up. Sometimes I'll take a little bit of sandpaper so it goes in smooth. I struggled a little bit there. Alright, and then the plastic thing goes on before the cap. Right? You want to do that? Put it on and line up the holes. So you got to line up these holes. These plastic fins seem like they're pretty good. Definitely don't lose the cap. I would be careful with them because they are a little thin if you push too hard. I don't think it's really necessary to push hard. So I don't think the plastic fins will stay on without that cap. Okay, so we got an engine in, right?
Yep.
Now we got to do recovery wadding. Estes does have sheets of recovery wadding. But what we've been using, I have a lot of recovery wadding, but we've been using the dog barf insulation. I think it protects our chutes a little bit more. I know you don't like this stuff, it's dusty, right? So dog barf insulation is just cellulose insulation that you can buy. So we use about 1.5 times the body tube. So we're gonna pack it in there, not too tight, because you want it all to come out. 1.5 to 2 times. I think if you put too much in there, you have a hard time with deployment, okay, on the chute. That ejection charge has a hard time pushing past all that stuff. So, and then I just gently pack it down there to make some room for the chute, making sure the shock cord is fully out. And we're gonna grab a little sheet of the Estes recovery wadding, because once we wrap up our chute, we're just gonna kind of protect the chute a little bit more. So now I kind of take all these lines, and I want to, there's a lot of different ways to pack a chute, I guess. I kind of like to fold them so that all the lines pull nice and center. The plastic chutes are a little different than nylon chutes. We're going to wrap it a couple times. Nice golden parachute. And then just to protect the chute, we're going to put a piece of recovery wadding behind it, just to give a little bit more protection, because nylon chutes aren't super expensive, but they could be, you know, $5 to $10 a piece. You start blowing holes in your chutes, you start getting a little bit upset, because you like everything to stay looking pretty nice, right?
Yeah.
Even though model rocketry, everything kind of gets beat up and scratched up, especially if you're transporting a dozen rockets to the field. Tuck your shock cord in there real nicely. Very nice. Good job, buddy. And then, other than an igniter, this one is ready to fly, right?
Yep.
Look at that, that's beautiful. Nose cone's a little loose, so be careful. You know, if you're transporting things out in the field, we actually use a laundry basket. You don't want to tip it over and then everything falls out, because you're already ready to fly right now, right? Other than the igniter, that's pretty cool. That one's ready to fly. Always read the instructions, even if you think you know what you're doing. It's going to save you a lot of heartache down the road. Whoa, okay. So this one has some different plastic fins. We're going to save our boxes, I think. We get the boxes off the table, because I don't like having all this stuff. on the table. One thing about hobby related stuff is we like to have nice clean work areas, and it's pretty hard to do because we just keep making more and more messes. Okay, so this one has some different shaped plastic fins, which is okay. We're going to look at how to do that. Parents, always be mindful. I mean, my kids are pretty good, they know, but be mindful of where you have your knives when you're at the table. Try to put them away every time. We talk about sharp things all the time, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this one has some different plastic fins. I think they go up into the boosters. Yeah, let's see what the weight is. Yeah, see, this one's pretty heavy compared to this one, so this one might fly pretty high. Look at that thing. Is that beautiful or what?
This one feels a little heavy.
It is. It does have an engine in there, and it has some recovery wadding, but I believe that this is going to be a lot more... You know what? Did they give you a stand for this one? No, not the same. I don't think there's a stand for this one. Let me double check. Make sure we didn't miss anything. No, no stand for this one, but you know what? This one probably stands up pretty well on the plastic fins, I bet you. So you got to look at it. It's like an X pattern. We're going to slide it in there. There we go. I would be pretty gentle about these as well. I wouldn't go forcing them in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and these are cardboard tubes here, so you don't want to crush those. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to look at the instructions on this one, because that seems like... There we go. I got it out. So, I don't think we need to push them in there all that far. So why don't we let Dad do that? Because these are just cardboard tubes on the side, so if we smush those, it's going to be no fun. Alright, so that one's in there. And I think we want to try and watch them pretty evenly. You know, because this one's so much lighter, we're going to do a 15 on this one. Nice bright orange shoot on this one, which is kind of cool. The older one, it has like a vintage gold. This one we're going to do a nice bright orange shoot.
Rockets that have other skinny rockets on the sides, they're kind of like planes. Those are called space races, but it's not actually a race.
You talk about this? Those are boosters. That's what actually gets them off, you know? It's pretty cool. You're thinking sci-fi stuff though. Yeah, you're right. There are like little gliders that come off and stuff like that. It's pretty cool stuff, always. So we're going to kind of double up the fishing swivels. Look at that. We have two beautiful scale rockets. They saved us a bunch of time. Time is money, right? They're both, I think this one was like $60 retail, and this one was $69.99 retail. But we have two beautiful scale rockets. And we didn't have to spend, so if you're just starting out, and you want to get into rocketry, with these you still need a launch controller, you still need engines, but I think that you could actually probably get going for about $100 by the time you bought some engines and a launch controller and everything. That's fine. Awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. Hopefully next time you see us out in the field with these, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you ready to fly?
Yeah.
I know, I'm kind of ready to fly, but you know what? It's not a good day for flight.
Yep.
That's all right. All right, have a good day.
See ya.